to this. We're here in the European Talent Cup. Those 20 points, I should say, hand him an 11-point advantage over Fernando Bojosa. So a costly, single European Talent Cup race. Carlos Cano started from pole, but it was Lorenzo Pretelli who got the better launch. Titan contender Fernando Bojosa served a back of the grid penalty, but quickly began carving through the field as Anton Nativi crashed out early. Bojosa continued his charge, while Evan Boxberger and Afonso Almeida also slid into the gravel. Bojosa soon reeled in title rival Cano, even passing the pole sitter to move into the podium places, but the Spaniard still had a long lap penalty to serve and nearly lost the front while taking it. He kept it upright only for disaster to strike shortly after crashing at turn 7. Cano looked to capitalise, and Pretelli, who had led most of the race, crashed out after a collision with Mikey Luis Sanchez. In classic ETC fashion, though, the final lap became a scramble. Cano led out of the final corner, but it was Kiandra Ramadipha who launched a late charge, snatching victory by just 0.07 of a second.
DNF do it from the young Spaniard. 11 points down in the championship. Carlos Cano, the reigning champion, holds the advantage and starts P2, but Bojosa
did strike a blow, coming top of his qualifying group. 3 wins this season, 6 podiums in total. So just to run you very quickly through the permutations. So it's an 11-point advantage for Cano. So if Cano finishes on the podium, regardless of where Fernando Bojosa finishes, Cano will win the title. If Cano finishes P4 to P6, Fernando Bojosa must win. If it is P7 to P11 for Cano, Bojosa needs a top 2, while P12 to P15, Bojosa needs a podium.
Correct, but I believe it is. There is also a tiebreak in play, as both riders have 3 wins. Cano has got 3 P2s and Bojosa has 2 P2s. So if the situation arises that Bojosa comes 2nd and Cano is in 7th, for example,
then it goes to a tie
all night, looking up the rules and regs of the European Talent.
Quickly through the permutations. So that took me longer than I care to admit, and I hope it's correct, but I believe it is. There is also a tiebreak in play, as both riders have 3 wins. Cano has got 3 P2s and Bojosa has 2 P2s. So if the situation arises that Bojosa comes 2nd and Cano is in 7th, for example, then tiebreak of P3s. Who's going to win it, Connor? If it goes to that tiebreak, it's 1-0 Bojosa on the P3 count, so it will go to Bojosa.
As far as I'm concerned, you're the winner here because you've clearly spent...
It goes to a tiebreak of P3s. Who's going to win it, Connor? If it goes to that tiebreak, it's 1-0 Bojosa on the P3 count, so it will go to Bojosa.
As far as I'm concerned, you're the winner here because you've clearly spent all night looking up the rules and regs of the European Talent Cup.
Yeah.
And
it certainly
I take my hat off to you, Chris. That is some honest work.
Yes, thankfully you don't need to actually rely on my mathematics during the race because we will have the live graphics standings. But those are the situations. It did take me longer than I care to admit, I have to say that, Connor.
We did just see the rider starting from P3 there, Alvaro Lucas, who is also a winner this season in the ETC, to get that first win in race 1 in Jerez, and has been very much one to watch as well, as has Alex Longarella.
Yeah, Alvaro Lucas, just to touch on him very quickly, a rookie in the class. He came out swinging double P4 first time out, took a win then in Jerez, a couple of podiums then in Magny Corps, and bar a couple of DNFs, he's been inside the top 5 nearly every race, top 4 even every race, and 1 P7 of course back in Mezzano. So sitting 5th in the championship, he'll be looking to catch Kiandra Ramadipha. He's 7 points behind Ramadipha in the bronze medal chase. Ramadipha himself actually has an outside chance of catching Fernando Bojosa for 2nd in this race. He is, 15 points behind. So
we did just see Jaroslav Karpushin there as well. Been on the podium 3 times so far this year, in a real surprise package, I think it's fair to say.
A real live wire, it has to be said, for Karpushin, because 3 P3s, and with the exception of the last one, the first 2 came when he was starting, I think, very deep on the grid. P18, I think it was, and P23 off the top of my head. 18th on the grid in Jerez, yes, and in 94, P23 on the grid. So the definition of a Sunday rider, I think it's fair to say. Of course, that 3rd podium, he started a little further up onto the grid. So one to watch, starting on that 2nd row today, in the middle of the 2nd row, as is Kiandra Ramadipha, picked up his 2nd win last time out. Just Alonso's here in person.
Yeah, David Alonso here in person, and he is watching on as we see the starting grid on row 1, Bojosa, Cano and Lucas, row 2, Longarella, Karpushin and Ramadipha, and on row 3, Borg, Nativi and Galan. Behind them on row 4, starting from P10, Krachok, Will, Perez and Gutierrez. Row 5, it's Almeida, Savino and Osorio. And on row 6, it's Cantos, Borelli and Sanchez. Starting from P19, Boxberger, P20, Pretelli, and P21 Ikigami. On row 8, we've got Matos, Sparks and San Juan. On row 9, it's Tessini, Cubeles and Galiunto. On row 10, Garcia, Serpa and Tamburini. Those last two coming through the ETC's last chance race this morning.
Almost set to go then here at circuit. Ricardo Dormo is about to go off on the warm-up lap, led away by the AC Racing Team rider of Fernando Bojosa. Carlos Cano pulling up right alongside him there. I wonder if there's a little bit of mind games up there.
Would not be surprised if there were mind games between those two. Any edge could mean all the difference here in Valencia. And there we have confirmation of the temperature. 14 degrees out there, 17 on track. I think very rarely in this championship is a warm-up lap needed in name.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely need to get the Pirelli tyres nice and heated across the early laps. So, seeing it through the season, both these riders are capable of breaking away from the pack, particularly Bojosa. I think it was Estoril, the opening race of the season when he took the victory.
Cano
He
ended up retiring in that race, I think, as well.
Bojosa broke away from the field and dominated. Race 2 then saw Cano and Bojosa go wheel to wheel, elbow to elbow over the finish line. Unfortunately though for Bojosa, he was disqualified later after post-race. That has proven costly now in the championship standings. Now, we are about to go racing here in the title decider for the European Talent Cup. Fernando Bojosa starts from pole position. A slight delay here as the red flag comes back out, but now all clear on the track. The safety car pulls up behind, the eyes are on the lights. And we are ready to go racing in title decider Sunday. Bojosa gets a start. And he does tuck in front of Cano, but there's a long run down into turn 1. It could all change. Cano is tucked right in behind Bojosa. Alex Longarella then getting involved as well and drops Cano behind him. So Bojosa gets the perfect launch through turn 1. He leads. Cano is dropped back to 3rd position, but for how long? Not very long. Is it going to be? No, Cano was having a little luck up the inside of turn 2, but Alex Longarella now is P2. So, dream start for Bojosa.
Yeah, Longarella got away really well there. Contrasting with Alvaro Lucas, who just found himself going backwards a bit, didn't get away well at all. And this is absolutely perfect for Bojosa. He's got a bit of a cushion now in the shape of Longarella.
He said it there after qualifying that he has a strategy in mind as Alex Longarella does go wide, but slots back into P2. And Alvaro Lucas now putting Cano under a little bit of pressure. But Bojosa said he has got a strategy with his team. What is that strategy going to be? Is he going to try and block up and slow the pace down as we've lost a rider at the back? That's the number 4 of Gabriel Tessini, who has gone out. So what is the strategy for Bojosa here, Connor? Does he slow the pace down and try and get a big lead group and bunch up on Carlos Cano, or does he just try and break away and take the win? Well, it looks like he's just going to try and break away.
I was just going to say, he set the fastest time in Sector 2 and Sector 3 there already, so very much looks like his plan is to break away as soon as possible, and now he's got 2 riders between himself and his title rival as Alvaro Lucas pulls through on Carlos Cano.
Yeah, so if you were to...
They've impressed, they've been on the podium more than once. They're not going to be easy for Cano to pass at all. We were saying how important it would be to get away well, and Cano simply hasn't managed to do that, but a rider of his caliber is more than capable. As difficult a track as Valencia is to overtake on, he is a rider who's capable of doing it, but there do seem to be a few bike lengths.
Bojosa, who reclaims the lead. So I would have to imagine this is a lead group of 5. Carlos Cano will be relatively content. He just needs to be in and around this group until the end. As things stand, you see it there, Bojosa would win by a single point. So at this race, if this is our lead group, Bojosa simply must win.
A single point in it.
Yeah, simply must win. Cano has to get onto the podium to guarantee the title. If he is P4 or below, then the permutations come into play. Bojosa, of course, there are lots of permutations in play, but
lunges there. Alvaro Lucas on the inside of Alex Longarella. Absolutely sensational stuff. Have to remember as well that these two are fighting for the 3rd spot in the ETC this year.
Yeah,
so everything to play for here. Drama
is
all over the place.
P3, has to be said. The number 46, of course, the number 46 famed in motorsport racing. For obvious reasons, I believe, Connor.
I think we're if you get there,
if you were donning the number 46, you need to have a little bit about you, I think, particularly here where you can see the face of Valentino Rossi watching down.
There does go Cano into a podium position there, into P3 as we go through turn 1. This is getting very, very exciting here in Valencia in this season finale. Carlos Cano now does overtake Arbushin to move into P4.
Yeah, Cano then just keeping it calm and steady. This is probably where he wants to be. If he can't lead the race out, if he can't break away from The rest of the pack, I'm sure he's
There goes
pretty happy
Lucas.
with things as they are. Very much in contention, as you quite rightly mentioned, at turn 11 there. Alvaro Lucas making a move on Alex Longarella, but his payback on the card for Longarella, not quite, going through turn 12. So very, very tight here. There's what between the front 6 riders? There's only about a second, 6/10 of a second between them. As, oof, look at that, diving from the inside there was that Alex Longarella, with a big move at the final corner to retake the lead here.
Ramadipha's looking for a bit of slipstream there as well. He has managed to get ahead of Karpushin there. Ramadipha coming in strong now.
Now here
He's
we
just
go.
behind Buhosa, who's now dropped down to P4.
Bahosa down to P4 and behind Carlos Cano, but for how long? Both of them went off the track there as Alex Longarella leads. Bahosa got the wider line on Cano, so nothing going for him through turn 2 and 3. Longarella ahead of Lucas. Does Lucas fancy an attack up the inside? Nothing going yet, but Bahosa certainly does. He gets the place back from Carlos Cano, but as things stand, it wouldn't be enough to finish P3 with Cano in P4. But Bahosa,
what a move from Bahosa
is that a
there.
2-for-1 deal? It most certainly is. The number 69 suddenly back into the lead.
Yeah, Angel Nieto Corner's really giving us some,
Well, look at this from
fantastic moves.
Kiandra Ramadipha taking the wider line there. It looked like he was going to mug them all off. Coming through 7. What a move that would have been from the Indonesian rider, but he does shuffle back behind Cano. But it just goes to show the ambition of the number 32. He's got a taste for victory already in the European Talent Cup in 2024. Winner last time out in Barcelona. There was also a win back in Magny Corp for the Indonesian, and he will be hoping to get himself among the top 3 and indeed challenge for the victory here once again. But it is Bahosa leading over Alvaro Lucas and Alex Longarella. That has been the story of the race so far, with Carlos Cano in 4th. The front 3 have been battling and changing places as they change places for P2 and P3 once again. Longarella this time and Alvaro Lucas. And while all this unfolds, it means the lead group don't break away from Carlos Cano, who seems just very content to sit in P4 for the time being.
For the time being, Bahosa there as well with a track limits warning. So that could prove quite important with the 6 laps that we have remaining then.
Yeah,
Again, a few riders there very wide there.
very tidy. He does lose the lead, but only momentarily as he strikes back at turn 2. You gotta keep it. You gotta stay off the green, Fernando. There's what, 5.5 laps, 5 3/4 laps going. Do not get yourself onto the green. A long lap penalty now would be devastating for your title chances.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's going to be throwing everything at it. I don't know if he's going to be too aware of that warning, given the focus he's going to be having to have in this battle with this originally leading 5. Now it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 riders involved.
Yeah, and just on that second group, we mentioned him earlier, Lorenzo Pretelli, the ever-impressive Italian. In the recent outings, he's joined the European Talent Cup. He's now at the head of the second group. So what is there between Pretelli and Karpushin? About a 2/10 of a second. Keep an eye on the number 67, as he is very much gaining on Karpushin, the Kyrgyzstani rider. So Pretelli is not out of this.
No, not at all. He started from P20 as well, so he's moved up 12 places so far. With 6 laps to go, absolutely not one to rule out whatever for a podium or something even more. He could definitely shuffle things up at the front and in the final standings of the ETC for 2025.
Yeah, Alvaro Lucas then leading over the line into turn 1, but will he lead out of it? He seems to have a couple bike lengths advantage. Well, he runs it very wide there, but he is still in the lead. But for how long? Turn 2, Fernando Bahosa strikes again.
Yeah, absolutely incredible from Bahosa. He's really delivering the performance that he needed to in this final race of the year. He's been leading for much of it, but he's not been able to lead comfortably whatsoever. Surprisingly, the pressure isn't being put on him by Carlos Cano, though. It is very much Alvaro Lucas and Longarella who are doing Cano's dirty work for him.
Yeah, absolutely well put. It is bubbling over quite nicely as Bahosa runs onto the red there, but he's about to lose the position again, is he, from Alvaro Lucas, as Lucas shows him the front wheel, but nothing going for the rookie rider around turn 8. That time, Bahosa holds on to the lead. This is bubbling over very nicely, Connor, it has to be said. Bahosa is exactly where he wants to be. Cano is in a very promising position to attack, while the likes of Longarella and Alvaro Lucas, Kiandra Ramadipha, all want to get involved in this as well. So I think we're set for a pretty grandstand finale to the 2025 European Talent Cup season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one of the races when you ask me who I think is going to win prior to a race, and I cannot give you an answer when we've got riders of this caliber and the competition this close in the ETC. It's just impossible.
Have you ever given me the correct answer before a race?
I try and stay on the fence as much as possible, you know this.
A concerned look then from Emilio
Lucas does
Alzamola.
move ahead there.
A concerned look from Emilio Alzamora as he encourages his star rider Carlos Cano to get on with it. Alvaro Lucas has a big moment with the front end there, and that opens the gap for the 69. Fernando Bajosa to once again go through at turn 2. Lightning striking twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times now I think it is. He has made that move at turn 2 on either Longarella or Alvaro Lucas. There seems to be a little bit of a gap opening up then between Longarella, Ramadipa in 4th position with Carlos Cano just stuck in behind in legion. Indeed, there's quite a big gap opened up with 3.5 laps to go. This is going excellently for Fernando Bajosa. He runs it wide once again coming out of turn 6, but he holds on to the advantage. What have you got, Carlos Cano? The pressure is very much on the reigning champion. He's got Ramadipa, race winner, ahead of him. And what is that? 6-7 bike lengths then to make up to the top 3. So this is big moment for Cano's title ambition.
Yeah, absolutely. What he's going to have to do now is manage that pressure. He is the reigning champion. There's a reason why. But he's got to show it now. He's got to demonstrate that he's got the maturity to deal with this situation that he's facing. The drama is palpable here. The excitement on pit lane. Absolutely incredible stuff with just over 3 laps to go. We're going round turn 14, the last, and we're onto the straight now. Can anyone take advantage of the slipstream here?
Lots of nervous faces down in the AC Racing Team pit boards, and it's Alvaro Lucas has gone back in front. Well, Alvaro Lucas has gone back in front, but guess what's coming up, Connor? It's going to be turn 2. It's Bajosa corner at this point. It's Doing corner. Let's rename it Bajosa corner. He's gone back up the inside, Fernando Bajosa, and this is big. This is very big because there are 2 3/4 laps remaining. It puts him back into the championship lead. He's under all sorts of pressure from both Alvaro Lucas and Alex Longarella, but most importantly not from Carlos Cano. But there's the door open for Carlos Cano. There's the door open. Is that the moment Cano now can reel in the top 3 ahead of him? Kiandraramadhipa going in a little bit wide, but seems he's got him on the cutback. Cano under pressure here, under all sorts of pressure. Ramadipa gone wide again. Cano had slotted in behind the Indonesian, but for how long?
Yeah, this is getting very dramatic.
And here comes Pretelli. Pretelli's coming through now. Cano under all sorts of pressure.
Yeah, we said it. Watch out. He started from P20 on the grid. Pretelli now up to P6, 14 places, and he's really ruffling some feathers in this championship.
Oh, how are your nerves? There are nervous faces down the AC Racing Team box, down the 72 Art Box team, up here in the commentary box as well. We are on the edge of our seats. Carlos Cano is running in 6th position. That means Fernando Bajosa, if he can get a victory here, Alvaro Lucas goes through for the lead though, but if Bajosa wins and Cano cannot get in to the top 3, Bajosa will be your European Talent Cup champion.
We are seeing though that Bajosa is capable of taking the lead at turn 2, but he seems to be losing it to Alvaro Lucas every single time on that last corner at turn number 14. Adrian Campos.
Someone's gone wide there.
Very dramatic.
Very wide and into the gravel there. I saw a bike flying off. I think is it Victor Cubeles. So it's from that group chasing behind the Carlos Cano group. So I thought momentarily it could have been one of our front runners, but it seems our front runners are still here. Fernando Bajosa is back in the lead. 1.5 laps remaining. Carlos Cano with Pretelli into Ramadipa. It is. Oh, it is Ramadipa who's gone out, and that is a big moment for Ramadipa, and perhaps in the context of the championship, a big moment as one of Cano's rivals on track is gone. Does that open the door?
But they're chopping and they're changing at every available opportunity. We've seen Alvaro Lucas take the lead. We've seen Alex Longarella take the lead. But the lead is what Fernando Bajosa needs if he is to be crowned ETC champion. He's currently ahead. Are we going to see a move here from Alvaro Lucas? Not quite. It's still Bajosa. But for how long? We're just going through turn 8 now, heading into turn 9 and 10. And it's still Bajosa who leads in the race and in the championship.
Half a lap remaining here in the European Talent Cup season. Carlos Cano is just dropped to 5th position, but Bajosa still needs the victory. Bajosa leads coming into the final sector. Turn 12, nothing going for Alvaro Lucas. What about turn 13? It's all going to come down to 14, isn't it? Turn 14, the championship could be decided at the final corner of the final race in 2025. Longarella shoots up the inside. Longarella's made the move. Longarella looks like he might have the win, but Bajosa's got drive to the line. Alvaro Lucas is pulled up beside him, and it's not going to be for Fernando Bajosa. He is third possession, and that means Carlos Cano is your European Talent Cup champion in 2025. Drama to the line in 2025. Fernando Bajosa, he led